This is a very strange pay-per-view. I'm John Renton with the Retro Review of WWE Royal Rumble 2003. And 2003 on Raw had the Reign of Terror, and one hardly needs to go on about that, even though I will when I get to the match. And also some really good stuff, some really good feuds. SmackDown, things were starting to kind of not fall apart for SmackDown, but you could feel that the brand was not getting nearly the love that it got when the initial brand split started. And there were some damn good performances and some damn fine matches, some really great feuds on there. And it's a shame because the initial brand split really did work. So let me know your thoughts on the show overall in the comments, please. But the Rumble match with some good storytelling was still messy. This whole show, compared to 2002, 2004, compared to, previous and, future Rumble events, just this was a very, very strange Rumble event overall. Video package for the Rumble, and we got, hype on the title matches as well. Dark match with Spike Dudley versus Stevie Richards with Victoria. Victoria carrying that goddamn duel. Only good thing that Stevie Richards ever did was hit JBL in the head with a chair. That's about it, at least in his WWE career. Set in Boston, Massachusetts, by the way, they really brought the goddamn energy, and we get Big Show with Heyman versus Brock Lesnar. Winners in the Rumble, not the final entrant. That's Undertaker. This is about what you'd expect. Brock wanted revenge for the, what happened at Survivor Series 2002 when Heyman and Big Show screwed him over and screwed him out of the championship. So it made sense. Heyman got caught and eventually, knocked off the apron a little bit later. And then F5, 1, 2, 3. It wasn't a bad match. It was, I think, about as long as their Survivor Series 2002 match, but Brock had recovered from a rib injury that he'd had, so it was a little bit better. And Brock was in the Rumble, good, because we didn't have any need to see Big Show in a main event spot, even though he would have a pretty damn good feud with Brock after Mania 19, well, after Backlash 2003, including a very underappreciated stretcher match at Judgment Day 2003. Then Jericho is talking about being number 2 in the Rumble, and he's a number 2 as far as a shithead, because boy, does he have some bullshit views, but that's now. We didn't know that back then. He's talking to Terry and says he will be number 2 in the Rumble because Shawn was given the number 1 spot. He's going to prove he's better than Shawn Michaels and then win the Rumble. Well, he succeeded in doing one of those and eliminating Shawn Michaels. He also was wearing a shirt, "Don't be an ass clown. Chris, if only you took your own goddamn advice." Anyway, the Dudleys versus Lance Storm and William Regal World Tag match. Yeah, World Tag title match, that is. And the Dudleys were on thin ice after attacking Sean Morley. The guy that's absolutely batshit fucking insane. I guess if I had to play a male porn star on a worldwide broadcast, I'd go nuts. So anyway, the match was fine. Morley shows up later, and then we get, Regal's knucks brought out, but Devon uses them on Storm, gets the win, new champs. And then the Dudleys would have to become Bischoff's, hired henchmen, so to speak, to keep their jobs and just keep attacking people they didn't want to. So, good storytelling, except it wasn't. We then get a Nathan Jones vignette. He looked great. That's about it. One hardly needs to go on about Nathan Jones after that. Nathan Jones was a bit strange. Very strange, actually. I don't really understand why or how they couldn't get something out of him. Now, I know he ended up on an Australian tour, I think, later in the year, late 2003, early 2004. He decided to just stay home. He couldn't take the rigors of the schedule. Apparently, something like that. Maybe it just didn't work out. He had a great look. I mean, really a great goddamn look. He's done well in Hollywood, so it is what it is. But it's just, I remember being so excited at 22, thinking, oh, this guy looks really good. And then, oh, that's all he looked, was just good. But anyway, we get Torrie Wilson versus Dawn Marie, stepdaughter versus stepmother match. Yes, this is where we are at on a SmackDown, with a SmackDown storyline. This is what we're doing. I'm not the biggest fan of Torrie Wilson, but I feel like she got a raw deal. Dawn Marie got a real raw deal. Got fired while she was pregnant in 2005. That's fucking bullshit. Who is this for? Seriously, yes, they made a trashy all the way through a fight at the funeral because Dawn Marie had married Al Wilson, Torrie Wilson's dad. I mean, her real life dad, but obviously only married him in kayfabe, and fucked him to death, basically. He died on their honeymoon, and then she's all, upset and stuff like that. This is a storyline that went on for months, by the way. Now, the Al Wilson passing away had just happened previously before this event, but still, this is where we were going with it. And commentary was trying to sell this fucking thing like crazy. Now, this had no business being on the pay-per-view. And I'm not saying that these women didn't try. They were in a no-win situation. This match wasn't any fucking good. Botches aplenty because neither of these two were really experienced workers, and also they weren't allowed to go out and do much of anything. We got boring chants. We got swinging neckbreaker 1, 2, 3. And commentary kept trying to sell this. And I want to say it was Taz. Like, she picked up the win, but she can't bring her dad back. That's how tasteless the storyline was. And it was fucking tasteless. Whether both signed off on or not. It was fucking stupid. It was fucking bad. This should have never happened. This was how they were using the women on SmackDown in 2003. Which is a shame because, Trish and Victoria were having a pretty damn good feud on Raw. And, they'd had that from from Survivor Series 2002 off and on until like May 2003. And that was really good shit. And then SmackDown was doing this, and it's just, I just don't understand it. Because SmackDown could have utilized their women a little bit better. Whether Dawn Marie and Torrie were good in the ring or not, it's fucking bullshit that they did this. But yeah, commentary doing this stuff, Trish trying to sell like crazy. It was baffling how bad this was. So we then get Stephanie interrupting Bischoff talking to Randy Orton, who I believe had a shoulder injury or he had something. I can't remember if he had the shoulder injury here or if he got it a little bit later, because I remember he was doing the Randy News Network, RNN. But Stephanie's like, oh, well, Bischoff, you're going to get fired because you haven't produced results on Raw. And then Bischoff says, oh, I've got a bombshell. He's going to bring back Stone Cold, because they end up mentioning Stone Cold during the Rumble and after being persona non grata for a bit because he walked out, he took his ball and went home. And I don't blame him, even though I can understand why Vince would be upset. They were going to bring Austin back. And then we get a Sean O'Haire vignette. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. Man, he was great with these pre-tape things, and then it just didn't work out. It's a real shame, because this was a pretty cool goddamn look as far as, just great stuff. It really actually could have fucking worked. It didn't, though. God, he was out of the company by summer 2003 or or late 2003. He did not last very long here. They gave him Piper's as manager, and it did not work. It did not work at all. Scott Steiner versus Triple H with Ric Flair world title match, and oh dear, the Reign of Terror. I forget what condition Scott Steiner exactly had, that he had some injury or something that he was dealing with and he couldn't really move. I mean, he wasn't very mobile. And he obviously he'd done a lot of, stuff to his body to, get as big as he did. I mean, and so did Triple H. Triple H was like ballooned up like crazy. It was like they were both trying to be Mr. Olympia, and, we're doing about the same amount of things, not clean, to get it. I mean, let's be honest. They weren't the only ones, but good fucking grief. One of the worst matches of the year. I mean, everything was bad. The crowd cheered Scott Steiner initially. The thing about this match, though, is everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. The Reign of Terror was absolute horseshit. I mean, you had it where Triple H had been awarded the championship and then lost it to Shawn Michaels, his friend, at Survivor Series 02, and then won it back a month later at Armageddon 2002. He wouldn't lose it again until Unforgiven 2003. He should have lost it to Booker T, and I'll talk about that here in a bit, but this feud with Scott Steiner, it should have worked. If Scott had been able, had not had that injury, drop foot, I think is what it was called, or something like that. If he had not had something like that, maybe you could have put the championship on him, but honestly, I don't think Scott Steiner would have been a good world champion, at least in WWE, because Triple H had to have his way, but also, the fans really turned on Steiner here because he would chop, hold the rope, chop, hold the rope, chop, hold the rope, and it just wasn't working. Flair kept interfering. The referee would not call for a DQ. They were trying everything they could to dress us up. We got this weird tombstone variation, reversal, and it was so bad. Triple H, I mean, I'm not the biggest Triple H fan. I hated Reign of Terror, but Triple H was the one trying to make Scott Steiner look good here. And all he did was bring himself down to Scott Steiner and his condition at this point, because it was just baffling how bad this was. And it was really bad. This went nearly 20 minutes, and it was fucking rotten. It was really goddamn rotten. They go outside. Triple H is trying to, get DQ'd after being busted open. Finally, uses a sledgehammer. Refs, that's it. DQ. And, that happens. And then we get a beatdown afterwards where Scott Steiner beats him up. And so, we're going to come back with a rematch of No Way Out 2003, which was a little bit better. But that's not saying much because it was still a shit sandwich. So you put a little ketchup on it, but it's still a shit sandwich. This was fucking revolting. Absolutely fucking revolting. Did nothing for anybody. Had it been 12 minutes, it still would have been bad, but at least, you would have gotten out of there quicker. Benoit versus Angle WWE Championship match. It was great, technically sound, big fight feel. I'm just going to be honest, guys. It's hard for me to watch a Benoit match objectively, especially. In fact, it's nearly impossible. And here's nearly to completely impossible because of what he did. If Benoit had just taken his own life, it would have been one thing. It would still been terrible, obviously. I'm not wishing it. But then, okay, he did what he did, but he didn't take anybody else's life. He took the lives of two other people, two people he claimed to love. So no, I cannot objectively review this. Commentary was eerie, talking about the aggression of Benoit. And eventually, even though it looked like Benoit was about to win, ankle lock, Benoit taps, gets a standing ovation afterwards. I get it, taking place in a vacuum, you could think this was a great match, but just, it's hard, guys. It's hard to defend wrestling with stuff like this. It's impossible to defend Benoit. It just, anyway. Was what it was, but it was just very, very eerie. Very fucking eerie. Anyway, so, we get a Rumble, we get Kane and RVD talking about the Rumble. Rumble match, 90-second intervals because, both title matches went on forever. Even though with Angle and Benoit made sense, they really could have taken one of the matches off here. I'd say take Dawn Marie and Torrie Wilson off, have it on SmackDown, and just, save the time, or take the tag title match off, and then just use that time maybe to add more, stuff for the Rumble, because having 2 minutes actually can give you more drama, but it is what it is. Shawn Michaels at number 1, Jericho number 2, Christian's impersonating Jericho. Where the hell's Shawn? Or where the hell is Jericho? Oh, there's Jericho. He low blows him and he beats him up, hits him with a chair. Chris Nowitzki comes down at number 3, but says, like, nope, you go ahead and do that. And he's busted open Shawn. He knocks him out of the ring. And then we get Chris Nowitzki in there. And then Ray and Edge are at number 4. Now, Nowitzki got injured badly with a double dropkick spot where it was supposed to be, I think, them hitting him at the same time, but Edge just skates right across his face. It busts his nose. It did cause a concussion, I believe, and Nowitzki would be gone from the company as far as an active in-ring competitor, I want to say by later that year, if not 04. And then he would become spokesperson. Obviously, he would have his own, he would do his own studies on brain trauma, and he's done some really good shit since, and that's really good. He's used his brain. He got out of wrestling before it would damage him too much, and he's dedicated his life to trying to, treat brain injuries and head trauma and all that, and CTE. That's great. Christian at number 6, then buildup at number 9, and I wonder how many people he abused backstage. And then we get Dreamer at number 10, brief hardcore spots. Jericho got gnawed up with a cane shot. Then he got eliminated. B squared, Bull Buchanan got eliminated at number 11, out in 30 seconds. RVD at number 12, 33 minutes. Jericho lasted 39 minutes, by the way. Matt Hardy at number 13 with 27 minutes. Eddie at number 14 with about 16 and a half minutes. Jeff Hardy, number 15, face off of Matt. He does all that stuff. Shannon Moore tries to stop a Swanton because he's the number 1 MFer. He's his Mattitude follower. And he gets Swanton as well. Rosie at number 16, the late great Matt Anoa'i. And then Test at number 17, he would factor into a big moment later and be one of the last big moments of his, current run here. And here as in WWE. And then we get Cena at number 18. He wraps Haas at number 19. Rikishi at number 20. Jamal number 21. Cool face-off between Rikishi and Rosie. That was kind of cool. Jamal number 21. Really sad. Really sad. He had a brief interaction falling on Cena's leg. No wonder Cena wanted to get revenge on him 4 years later for what he fucking did. Even a monster's gotta breathe. It's a great line. Bit jarring considering what Benoit did, but also considering what happened to Jamalga, if you will, just under 3 years later. And then we get Kane, number 22. He lasts 20 minutes. Rico gets chokeslammed, and Rosie gets gone. Rico was the manager of 3-minute warning. Booker, number 24. Then the Triple H feud. I'm going to say right now that even though Booker has kind of put his foot in his mouth and has kind of acted like a goddamn idiot, Booker T still should have beaten Triple H at Mania and the Mania 19. That isn't the fact that he didn't. It's fucking revolting and one of the worst examples of burying somebody. And that was a burial. That was a fucking burial. I don't throw out that word lightly. That was a fucking burial. Now, yes, Booker eventually became champion a little bit later. Still fucking horseshit. And then we get A-Train, number 25. Then we get Shawn running down and attacking a lot of people, including Jericho. Then Test eliminated Jericho soon after. Michaels dives on him, so we continue that into Mania 19. Probably the best match on the show, next to Angle and Brock. But maybe, I say Jericho and Shawn probably was the best match on the show. And then we get Maven at number 26. Goldust at 27. He's out in like a minute. Batista at 28. Brock at 29. He faces off. He faces off, against a few people. Eliminates Haas and Benjamin, then eliminates Matt Hardy, F5ing him on all of them, or both of them. Maven tries to eliminate Undertaker, does not work this time, does not compute. He gets chokeslammed and eliminated. Taker at number 30, by the way, just in case you wondered how the hell Taker get there. And it's down to Taker, Batista, Brock, and Kane. And Brock ends up tossing Taker out after Batista runs back in and gets he gets hit with a chair, and then Brock tosses him out. We get a show of respect, and then there we go. That's it right there. Brock wins the Rumble. Going on to main event, Mania 19, and it was the right result, but it was just such an odd Rumble. If you watch it, you'll know what I mean. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys say. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.